Yo, welcome in, man. Today is December the 1st. New month, new money, hopefully, man. We got a bunch of games on the board for today. I think it's 10 games in the NBA. So we're gonna jump right into it. Go through a couple of comments. Try to make the show pretty efficient today, with it being so many games. Yesterday, only gave out one play. It was a loser. It was the Washington Wizards team, total under 107.5. The Bucks decided to let the Wizards have their best offensive game in quite a while. But it happens, man. We'll get it back today. We'll get it back and more. I actually like the slate for today. And it might be one of those days where I'm kind of firing, if I'm being honest with you guys. I like a lot on the slate for today. And the other thing about yesterday, just getting to finishing the recap, the Wizards team total was the thing I liked the most at 107.5. Everything else I put up on the screen as on the short list, cash. Cade Cunningham was rolled out, so his 8.5 assists was a refund if you played it. Maxey went up and over his 24.5 points. Damian Lillard had 10 assists. We talked about over 7.5. And then Utah, I don't think Utah got to 114 points, right? Pretty sure they did not get to 114 points last night. They got to 94. And we talked about like a Utah team total under as well. Dallas ended up covering that spread as well. So probably should have fired a little more, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We'll try to get it back today. Hopefully you guys tell some of the plays yesterday and made some money. What up, Marquise? Says he had a 5-0 night. That Hornets team total under was a winner. Suns minus 3.5. Jazz team total under. Sixers money line with Maxey 25 points. Yes, sir. I'm glad you cashed it. Glad you cashed, man. Fading Milwaukee until further notice. Big Zan says, yeah, they on the no bet list after just one game. I won't be betting on the Bucks for quite a while unless they're dogs. I knew laying 15.5 points with them was not a winning proposition in my opinion. Like they not that locked in, but they were locked in Miami when they were a dog and didn't have Giannis. And shout out to my guy Dream. I know Dream gave out Giannis triple-double yesterday in the stream. I think he got it at plus 800. It actually went to plus 900. I did put a little sprinkle on Giannis to get a triple-double yesterday, but it was not my play. Shout out to Dream. That was a winner. Big winner. Needed it. What up, Merrill? What up to my guy Justin? GLB Bets in here as well. Bill says, what's up? What's up, baby? Let's get this money. Big Zan says, Chris, I know you. This is an NBA show, but if you have any strong looks on NFL football, like a prop, you don't mind sharing, let me know. I'm trying to cash. Yeah, I play 5 NFL plays. This isn't an NFL show. I typically do those on the Propcast with my guy Munov. I did it. We always record on Friday if you're interested. I got 5 plays in the NFL today that I like. I'm not sure if the numbers have moved or not. What up, G Herd? Mark in here as well. What up, Charles? Brandon in here. So let's get this money. Brian in here. What up, Brian? Interested to see what you're on. Cesar Pick says, Chris, what's up, bro? Appreciate the hard work and your grind. Yeah, let's get into the grind, man. What up, Peasy? Hot TV Grit says, good call again, Chris. Thank you for the Dame over his assist. Giannis 30 and Maxey over his points. I'm glad you cashed him. I had not $1 on any of that. Justin says, I quietly SGP'd Maxey over 26.5 with this money line. He said that team from Philly still owes me some bread. I'm glad you got it back a little bit yesterday. Justin. Remember we said on the show that it was a spot for the team from Philadelphia, man. They got the job done yesterday. I just couldn't put my hard-earned money on them yesterday. But it was especially when Maxey got ruled out, when Cade got ruled out, and the line only flipped to 2. So yeah, I like it. What up, Ring? Appreciate you for tapping in. Tyler, good morning to you as well, bro. Who they in here? Let's jump into the games that we got on the board for today. It's a ton of them, man. jaXon, real quick. I keep talking about jaXon. I looked at jaXon this morning for the first game. I think this is something that I'm gonna keep trying to do throughout the show. I talk about it all the time. Just kind of like looking for the breakdowns for jaXon, just to kind of share at least one of them with you guys. And if people are interested, you can check jaXon out. I had it pulled up somewhere. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So I asked jaXon this morning about the first game that we're going to get into in just a second. I'll read you guys what jaXon said. So Magic and Brooklyn Nets, it says it likes the Magic minus the 6.5. jaXon does. It says the Magic are on a 5-game winning streak and have been dominant against the spread, going 5-0 in their last 5. Orlando has been strong favorites this season, 7-0 against the spread when they're favored by 7.5 points or more. The Nets, while competitive, are dealing with significant injuries, including Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe, which could limit their ability to keep up with the Magic's balanced attack. The Magic defeated the Nets convincingly in their last matchup just 2 days ago, 123-100, covering at 7.5-point favorites. You can grab the Nets, the Magic -6.5 over at ESPN Bet for -105. I asked jaXon about the total. He likes the over. I also like the over. We'll get into why I like the over. But first, jaXon says the Magic have been involved in high-scoring games recently, with the total going over 4 of their last 5. The Nets have also hit the over in 6 of their last 9 games, including their last matchup against the Magic, which totaled 223 points. Despite injuries, both teams have shown offensive efficiency. The Magic are averaging 108.4 points per game, while the Nets are averaging 111 points per game. The model likes the total over the projected total of 218.9 points, significantly above the line of 209.5. So jaXon can give you all of the different things, man. They got additional context, talking about Paolo injury, Gary Harris not being there, recent form, head-to-head matchups. Like, it's a lot of great things. I know I'll come on here and talk about it. People have signed up. If you guys are interested, definitely check it out. There's a 50% promo code in the description of the video if you guys are interested. And I probably should have just put this on the screen, but it's a lot trying to get all the shows, get everything produced for the show. So that's jaXon. Excuse me. Let's jump into the action for today. And that is this first game against the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic. Like jaXon said, I wrote it in my notes too. Orlando has won 5 straight. They've covered all 5, 9-1 against this number in their last 10, straight up and against the spread. And they play in New York. So maybe a potential look ahead spot. They do got the Knicks on deck on Tuesday to start a 3-game road trip. This is their first game back home too, after beating the Nets 2 nights ago. You look at Brooklyn, they had actually covered 3 straight before running into the Orlando Magic. This is the first leg of a back-to-back with a game in Chicago tomorrow. They got the Bulls tomorrow. Also another road game after only 1 home game. And we talked about the Nets eventually being a fade, and it was that last game against the Orlando Magic. They had played 8 of their last 10 games on the road, and it finally caught up with them. They were also shorthanded in that game. So Dorian Finney-Smith is out. Schroeder is off the injury report, which you got to like if you like the total in this game. And then Gary Harris on the opposite side for the Magic is still going to be out. No Paolo, of course, but Wendell Carter Jr. is back. I think this will be his 3rd game back. So Orlando, they have won 4 straight in the head-to-head matchup. They've covered all 4, most recently 2 nights ago as 8-point favorites. They won that game by 23, and that game went over to 207 by 16 points. I kind of think we see points in this game as well, man. If I had a play in the game, it would be Orlando, maybe specifically their team total. It's 107.5. The one thing I'm looking at with the Nets is they're not playing a lot of defense. They're just scoring the basketball. This is one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. They're top 5 over their last 5 games, and they get Schroeder back. So what I wrote in my notes is Orlando has actually gone up and over 107.5 in 4 of their last 5 games. Surprisingly enough, Brooklyn is the 6th best. Orlando is the 6th best offense over the last 5 games. They're 9th in effective field goal percentage. They're 4th in offensive rebound rate, while Brooklyn is 28th in points allowed. So they're allowing the 3rd most points over the last 5 games, 29th in opponent effective field goal percentage, and they're fouling at a top 10 rate as well. Orlando is also playing a lot faster as of late. They're 5th in transition frequency over the last 5 games, and they're scoring the 2nd most points per 100 possessions in transition, while Brooklyn is bottom 5 in points allowed per points allowed per possession in transition is what I'm trying to say. Then I looked into the strong trend. We talk about teams opening the total opening higher than the previous total if the game went over, and that's been a solid trend to back the over as well, going 175, 128, and 2 to the over. All of those games since the 2013 season. So it's about 58%. The other thing, the last thing I'll mention to put the cherry on top is I talked about Schroeder being back. He missed the last game. He was on the injury injury report, I think for personal reasons, but he is off the injury report here. Brooklyn's offense with Schroeder on the floor, 119.5 points scored per 100 possessions, but Schroeder off the floor, only 108. So over, this game screams over to me. You can get a 209.5 depending on where you shop. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one, and we'll keep it moving, trying to be productive with the show this morning. What up, GM? Appreciate you for tapping in. Hot TV Grit says, good call again, Chris. Thanks for the... Oh, I read this already, I think. All right, let's keep going. Who's we at? What up, Chad? Appreciate you for tapping in. Says, what's up, my guys? Loaded card. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Marlo says, "What up, Chris? Long time watcher, first time tapping in the chat. Appreciate that, Marlo." Hey, just as long as it cash, Justin, that's all that matters, bro. I know you're talking about the team in Philadelphia, man. You just got to throw it out there. That's all. That's all. G. Harris says, "Need to talk Jazz plus 7.5. We'll get there." Justin says, "Jackson got Hornets plus 3.5, even with the bad number." Yeah, Jackson was right on the total yesterday in the Charlotte game and on the side yesterday. I did look into that, Chad. Jackson be hitting, bro. Jackson needs to lay off the pipe, not laying points against the Nets. Nets are nothing for Chad. That's funny. That's funny. How do you access this Jackson tool? So TZ, there's a link in the description of the video. If you use it, it'll get you 50% off of your Jackson research. And Jackson is not just for NBA. It's for NFL. It's for college, which I didn't know. It's a whole bunch of different languages. So if you want to, translate it to a different language, you can. It can pull up charts, tables, you name it. But yeah, it's Pond Sports. Just type in Jackson Pond Sports and it'll come straight up. Make sure you use that referral code though, so you can save 50% off of whatever subscription you decide to sign up with. Merrill likes Ben Simmons over his 12 and a half rebounds and assists. Chad says Nets plus 8.5 on open. Would like it still at plus 6.5. That's the other thing to mention. This line has come down. I wrote 8.5 in my notes last night, and it's down to 6.5. So I think that's the Schroeder move. They've been significantly better with Schroeder on the floor. Merrill likes Franz over his 26.5 points. Franz has been cooking. Real quick, to put some numbers behind this. I'm glad you mentioned this, Merrill. I meant to look into this myself. I know I'm not playing Franz in this game, but it makes a ton of sense, right? It's definitely a spot where you just kind of want to keep backing Franz or just kind of stay off. Franz is over his 26.5 points in 7 of his last 10 games. He had 29 the other day. Before that, he did have two 21-point games, but he's been cashing before that. 29 or more in 7 of his last 9 games. So if he's going under, he won't even be close. The times that he missed, he had 14, 21, and 21. The times that he hit, 29 or more in every single game. The minutes are going to be there. So yeah, I could not talk you off Franz at all. I like Franz. Wendell Carter Jr. over his rebounds and assists. High TV Grid says, I think the Nets home again. The Nets are not at home this game. I think the Nets are on the road in this one, Brian. I didn't get this wrong, did I? I don't think I did. Let's double check it. Oh, maybe I did get it wrong. Yeah, they are. My fault. Yeah, I totally butchered that. Yeah, the Nets are at home. I butchered that. Appreciate you, Brian. Yeah, so this should be flipped. This is not a game in Orlando. This is the second of a back-to-back in Brooklyn. I still like the over. I think I like the over a little bit more than anything else. Dougie Bone says with Schroeder back, Nets could cover. They absolutely could. What up, Aaron? Cam Johnson over his 21.5 points, rebounds and assists. Bless, appreciate the comment, bro. Brian says Magic first half and full game. They are cash cow. I'm not betting against them right now. But Brooklyn is also a team that's the second best ATS team. Actually, I know Brooklyn didn't cover the other day. Who is the best ATS team right now? I know it was Cleveland. Who's the best ATS team right now? The best ATS team is the Cavs still, 70% Cavs. Rockets number 2, Nets number 3, 68.4%. They are 13-6-1 against the numbers so far this season. So yeah, I mean the Magic not far behind them though. Magic cashing 62%. They 13-8 against the number. What up, AB? What the Falcons beat the Chargers. We can look into that. What up, Jacob? He says driving now. Gonna have to lurk, but I got the over at 208 in the Magic game. Not playing the spread. Yeah, I think I just played a team total over or the total in this game. That's my what I wrote in my notes was Orlando team total over 107.5. When I looked at the numbers with Schroeder on the floor versus off the floor, it kind of make me think that they should be able to score the basketball with the Brooklyn can too. So I do like the over a little bit more than anything else. PG says KCP over is 8.5. I'm going to ride his momentum. Pause. Okay. Yeah, don't let me talk you off. Little KCP love. Let's see. What KCP been doing? Then we'll move over to the next game. Can't get stuck up on one. Okay, KCP hot. Hotter than fish grease. 24-19 for KCP in his his last 2 games against Chicago and Brooklyn. I'm guessing he's knocking down some shots. He took 10 threes and 5 threes, made 6 threes and 4 threes. So maybe KCP threes in this spot as well. He's hit 10 in the last 2 games for KCP, shooting 70% from the 3-point line over the last 2 games. So if you like KCP, maybe even just take his 3-point prop up and over. Let's see what his 3-point prop is. 1.5 minus 110, and he done hit 10 in the last 2 games. It's right there on KCP. Over 1.5 3-point makes. Knew it was only a matter of time before KCP got hot. Yeah, I think that's what I would look towards here. All right, let's get into the next game. We can't stay on one game for too long. Next one up, we got the Pacers and the Grizzlies. This line was opened at 7.5. So money, I know it's sharp money that's coming in on the Pacers, buying this down to 7. I see a 6.5 out there as well, because I know people not putting their hard-earned money on the Pacers right now. So it's got to be sharp money in my opinion. The total has moved up. They opened at 241.5 is what I saw that yesterday, up to 243.5 for the Pacers. First up, at least a 4-game road trip for them. They got smoked on Wednesday night by the Detroit Pistons. Lost that game by 24. After 3 straight wins, the Pacers had beat up on the weak, man. They beat the Portland Trail Blazers, the Washington Wizards, and the New Orleans Pelicans. And even within those wins, they still won 8-1 against the number in their last 10 games. That's how I know it's sharp money. Nobody is betting their money on the Pacers today. 8-1 against the number in their last 10 games. Only 2-8 straight up. 3-7 against the spread on the road are the Pacers as well. This is not a good basketball team, specifically when they're not, in what is it called? The Field House, whatever. I forgot the first part of the name, but they're just not a good basketball team on the road this season. They failed to cover 5 straight road games, have the Indiana Pacers, losing by an average of 9 points per game. On the Memphis side, and I'll get into the injury report in a second. On the Memphis side, team has been hooping, man. They are 7 and let me just get off. Get this comment off screen. This team has been hooping. The Pacers are 7-3 straight up, 8-2 against the number in their last 10 games. This is the last of a 4-game homestand for them. They've won 5 straight, and they play in Dallas. So potential look ahead spot with Dallas on Tuesday, maybe. I did see yesterday last night when I was capping the game, Andrew Nembhard could return. He's been upgraded to questionable in this game. You're still going to be without Ben Shepherd. You're still going to be without Aaron Nesmith. And I think that even with Nembhard coming back, I think that it's going to take a while. Like defensively, he's going to be a lot better. Offensively, he's going to be a lot better. But he's missed so many games. Nembhard had actually missed 12 games so far this season. So you don't like that as much for the Indiana Pacers. I'm looking at Memphis. As far as the head-to-head, they've dominated. They've won 5 of the last 6. They've covered 6 straight against the Indiana Pacers as well. And last year, all 3 games actually went under the total. dating back to 2 years ago, all 3 of the totals have actually gone under. It's hard for me not to take Memphis. I have been leaving money on the table, in my opinion, with the Memphis Grizzlies. They've continued to cover. Like, this is one of the best covering teams in the NBA, probably the hottest team in the NBA right now. I'm going through and I'm looking at their numbers. This team is actually, what did I write in my notes? They are first. They're first in points scored per 100 possessions over their last 5 games. They're number 3 in effective field goal percentage, 7th in offensive rebound rate, 1st in net rating. They're winning by an average of 18, outscoring their opposition by 18 points per 100 possessions. And they're 30th in opponent effective field. Oh, no, I'm sorry. In net rating. Then you got the Indiana Pacers defense that's 20th in points scored per 100 possessions. So they're giving up a ton of points. And their opponents are shooting the best percentage from the field. 30th in opponent effective field goal percentage right now are the Indiana Pacers. So then I pivot off of the full game and I say, well, I wonder if this is a first half spot. Memphis has been dominant in the first half. They're 15-4-1 against the number in the first half, 7-2-1 against the number in the first half as a home favorite. Meanwhile, you got the Pacers just 6-13-1 against the number in the first half. They're 2-3 if they're a road dog in the first half this season. I kind of want to get there. I think the best spot on the board, in my opinion, is the Memphis Grizzlies early in this game. We saw that they didn't cover, because of a last-second shot against the against CJ McCollum in that Portland Trailblazers game the other day. I kind of want to get here with Memphis early, man. I think you can get a first half number -3.5 on ESPN Bet. I do think that that's the way that I want to get involved in this game. When I was looking earlier, it wasn't a lot of first half numbers out. It's still not a lot of first half numbers out. But I do think Indy first half -3.5 is the best number in this, the best way that I want to play this game. I also think Ja Morant points plus assists is absolutely in play for this game. I got both of those written on my short list of how I want to play this game. I'm not putting my money on the Pacers today, though. Not doing it. Let's see what you guys are thinking. What up to my guy Dropping Dimes? Says happy Sunday. Join that court. Dropping Dimes in there giving out women college basketball plays on fire. I think he hit every single one of them yesterday. Appreciate you Dropping Down for being part of the community. Let's see what you guys are saying. What up, Tasha? Brian says I cashed on Golden State Phoenix under last night. That was a good call. Yeah, I didn't even play that, but it was only under, right? It was only under. I know it started off a little scary because Phoenix was scoring the ball at a really, really good rate in the first half, but it did, kind of fizzle out. Ja over his 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists. For Merrill, I couldn't talk you off. Ja has been absolutely cooking right now. I keep waiting for the Grizzlies to have a bad game, and they just have not. they literally have not had a bad game in such a long time, man. I've been kind of wanting to wait and fade them. They've been cooking. I think you get with them or you just stay off of it. Honestly, they should be able to get to the rim. Ja Morant should be able to challenge Miles Turner in this spot. I think Ja points plus assists. That's what's been really calling my name. The number is 30.5. He's gone up and over it in 6 of the last 10 games. He's gone up and over in 5 of the last 6 games, back-to-back games. 33 and 34 in his last 2 games. We know the Pacers like to play fast. That's what I like a little bit more in this spot, man. This number opened at 28.5. It's up to 29.5. Ja Morant over his points plus assists in this spot. 29.5 is top player prop for myself. Pacers been giving it up. Memphis trifected tonight. So Memphis trifected tonight. Okay. Jacob says, I'm not playing a side in this game. I will give you guys 2 player props that are absolute smash spots. GLB Best says, I may lay the points. I may lay low with NBA today, but home teams all 3 or 4 games where they covered playing a non-conference opponent are 11-3 against the spread, 12-2 on the money line this season, says to take the Grizzlies. Hell of a trend here. Jacob likes Tyrese Halliburton under his 19.5 points on DraftKings. He's on the road. That's all I got to say. And that is, I'm glad you mentioned this. Remember, we talked about this about 2 weeks ago. Tyrese Halliburton has been god-awful on the road this season. He had a couple good games at home, but if you look at Ja Morant, Tyrese Halliburton specifically, and Ja might actually get up for this game because I remember there was a time last year where people were saying that Tyrese Halliburton was better than Ja when he was hurt or suspended or whatever the case might be. Real quick, Tyrese Halliburton has gone up and over his points prop in 4 straight games, but those 4 games came at home. Before those 4 games, he'd actually gone under in 6 straight, under 18.5. And if I look at the number this season, he's only over 18.5 in 8 of 20 games, so he's staying under 60% of the time. If I look at him specifically in road games so far this season, Tyrese Halliburton he's only scored 19 points twice in 10 games. So 80% trend says that Tyrese Halliburton goes under. I'm glad you mentioned this. I totally forgot about this. Might be a little SGP here. Tyrese Halliburton under 18.5 points here. If you think he's back in form, take him. But he hasn't hit 19 points in a road game since November the 4th. So it's been almost a full calendar month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games he's actually stayed under 18.5 points. So I like that. Appreciate you for shouting that out, Jacob. Merrill says under 243.5. Does Jackson like that? I will have to look into it. Jacob likes Ja points plus assists as well. 27.5 is the number he liked. Chad says Grizzlies first half, not laying 7 full game, but the Grizzlies have been starting strong. Grizzlies +8 and a half first half net rating. They've been killing it. I gave out the trends to support it. They're 15-4-1 against the number in the first half. In the first half, if they're a home favorite, 7-2-1. So I like that a lot as well. Let's see. Anything else here? Brian says I like Grizzlies, but I ain't getting these early. I ain't betting these early games, early start games. So this is a 3:30 start game, just FYI. Mark says I'm clearly not sharp because I took Memphis -7. They still can win by 7 though, Mark. And I don't think you got a bad number. 6.5. We'll see what happens. People liking the Pacers. I do not. Justin says, FYI, Jay sent the Pacers +8 to the members. So Jay likes the Pacers. I'm interested to hear why. I'm not on the Pacers today. Jay, I know Jay's super sharp, but not getting it with the Pacers. If anything, I'm looking at the Grizzlies first half in this game. But always got to respect what Jay says. What Jay says. Charles says, Ja revenge season. Halliburton gotta be on his list. And I agree with that. I do agree. Glow says under 244. I can see under. I got to look a little bit deeper into it though. Chad says been riding the Grizzlies, love to death. Even with the injuries, they still got 9-10 deep. Yeah, they got Huff off the bench. The rookie, what's his name? I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name, but I watched him play the other day. He out there locking people up. Like I do think it's a little. If you like the Pacers, I feel like you like the over, but the Pacers haven't been able to score on the road as much as they've been able to score at home. Correlated with Tyrese Halliburton specifically. If we look at Pacers this season, and then we got to get over to the next game. If we look at the Pacers this season on the road, they are 6-4 to the over, but those games are averaging 228 points. 3 straight overs. Like I said, they failed to cover 5 straight. I even went back and looked at the post-game interview. I saw nothing that said that the Pacers were going to do anything in this spot. Like, they just said that, we got to be better, blah, 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 blah. Like, I watched TJ McConnell interview. I watched Rick Carlisle interview. I was trying to get there with the Pacers in this spot, too. I couldn't do it. Could not do it. What up to my guy, Dream? Dream dropped that Giannis triple-double yesterday. I did tell you, Dream. Appreciate you, my brother. And I got it a little bit better odds than you. I got +900. Appreciate you, Dream. He says, top of the morning, could this be the Ja game, first game versus Indy since the laser pointing incident? Ooh, I forgot about that. Happened in the parking garage. Ja homeboys had the laser out. Okay. Okay. Yeah, give me Ja. I'm going Ja today. Brian says he liked the trifecta. Let's see. Who's guarding Ja with Nembhard and Neesmith out? Ja will straight jump over Holly, and I agree with that. Yeah, use him as a trampoline. Jalen Wells, that's who I was thinking about, the rookie out in Memphis. He's been cooking. AB says Ja double-double is +165. I couldn't talk you off any of it. Let's keep it moving. Next game we got up is the Celtics and the Cavs. This line open with the Celtics. Well, at least I saw it open with the Celtics as 1-point favorites, 1-point road favorites. That line has moved now to 1.5. It is some 2s out there as well. The total come down. 236 is what I saw. 236.5. So it's down 3 points, down to 233.5. I guess I kind of agree with the money coming in on under. So you do got a Boston team, first leg of a back-to-back. They got a home game tomorrow with the Miami Heat coming to town. And the Boston Celtics have been covering numbers. I'm sorry, not been covering numbers, but winning games. They won 9 of their last 10, but they've only covered 3 of their last 10. They just let the Bulls do whatever it is that they wanted to do the other day in that in-season cup game. Almost lost that game, too. They got hot late in that spot. You got a Cavs team off 1 day's rest, back at the crib. They went down to Atlanta, got smoked. Was at home before the Atlanta game on Thanksgiving Eve, got smoked. So back-to-back losses, and all 3 of their losses have come against the Cavaliers. Losses have come against this Boston Celtics team and the Atlanta Hawks. 2 teams that do what? Defend the 3-point line really, really well. On the thing about this game though that makes it really difficult to bet is the injury report. There's a bunch of guys on the injury report. Porzingis is listed as questionable. So is Al Horford. So is Drew Holiday. So is Derek White on the Boston side. And then on the opposite side for the Cleveland Cavaliers, I know they got Karis LeVert back in their last game. Dean Wade, I saw, is listed as he's going to continue to be out in this game here. So you got 3 of the 5 starters for the Boston Celtics listed as questionable with Al Horford off the bench. And then, like I said, no Max Strus and no Dean Wade on the Cleveland side. I have no idea what to do with this game, man. I just kind of wish Joe Mazzulla would just tell us who was going to play. If you guys have been watching the show for a while, you know that one thing that's really, really difficult for me to do is try to play the spreads without knowing who's going to play. I will tell you guys, Tatum, Jason Tatum over his rebounds prop has been absolutely cash against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's something that I'm kind of paying attention to. I'm going to see what happens with Porzingis. If he does not play, I think that's the way that I want to attack this one, is just looking at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum to go up and over his rebound prop. He has been clearing this number against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just in general, like Tatum's been a pretty good rebounder this season. So just to put some numbers to that, on the season, he's only up and over. This is up to 9.5 now. He's only up and over 9.5 at 32% of the time. But he's coming off a 14 rebound game against Chicago. When he played against the Cleveland Cavaliers in that last game, he did have 12 rebounds in that game as well. I like Tatum. I think especially if Porzingis doesn't play, I think he has to rebound the ball. We know what it is with the Cavs, man. They struggle to guard the 3-point line. That's their deficiency. They really struggle. Donovan Mitchell's also been struggling the last few games. I know he got locked up and really just missed a ton of shots in that last game that they lost in Atlanta as well. So potential bounce back spot for him. He does typically play well against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So some Donovan Mitchell props and some Jason Tatum rebound props is how I'll be looking at this game. Let's see. Put some numbers with Donovan Mitchell because I think he does play well against this team. Let's just double check it. Donovan Mitchell has gone under his points prop in, let's see, 25.5. He went under. He only had 12 against the Atlanta Hawks. He's over in 8 of his 19 games this season. He's over in 4 of his last 6 games overall. Against Boston in the head-to-head matchup, he is over in 6 straight games. Is Donovan Mitchell at 25.5. So you got to think that Donovan Mitchell is going to have a really good game against this Celtics team. For whatever reason, he always typically does. So 25.5 for Donovan Mitchell on his points prop. Also, Darius Garland. We remember what Darius Garland shot last time he played against this team? Wasn't he like 3 for 20 from the field? I feel like Darius Garland should also have if anybody got this game circle, it should be him. He's the reason why they lost. He shot the ball so poorly in that head-to-head matchup the last time that these two teams played. So couldn't talk anybody off looking at Darius Garland. Darius Garland points is 18.5, especially if those guys don't play for the Boston Celtics, the guards specifically, the Drew Holidays of the world, the Derek Whites of the world. Back-to-back games with 19 and 29 against the Atlanta Hawks. He's probably due for a really big game. Real quick, let's just go look at that Boston game. Against Boston, he shot 3 for 21, 14% from the field. He probably got this game circled, if anybody. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Jacob says, it's Donovan Mitchell day. Tasha says, I can't bet against Boston. Merrill likes Donovan Mitchell up and over his points prop. 25.5. Appreciate you, Dream. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Jay Fuller says quick revenge spot for the Cavs. Cavs spot. Guards for the C's questionable also. It's funny no money has come in on it. The Cavs, I feel like if it's a quick revenge spot, they should be closing as the favorite. But like you just kind of gotta wait, man. This game doesn't start until 6, so no reason for me to keep talking about it for too long. Merrill likes Tatum over his 3.5 threes. Mark says, I like Cavs at home here. So thinking the Cavs bounce back after 2 straight losses, Mark says. All I need is Peyton Pritchard, Jacob says. But that Cavs 3-point defense, you're probably right. Cavs 3-point defense has been really, really bad. That's one of the things that they struggle to defend. 29th in opponent 3-point accuracy for the full season. They allow teams to shoot 39.3%. Last 5 games, it's even worse. Allowing teams to shoot 41% from the 3-point line. That's what breaks the back of the Cavs every single time. When they lost to Atlanta at home the other day, they gave up 23s. I think Atlanta shot above 45% from the 3-point line in that spot. And not sure what Atlanta shot in the last game, but the Cavs offense wasn't clicking. Chad says Boston money line. Porzingis is different. Didn't have him in the first game. Don't mind alt lines. Here, think this is a Boston by a lot, like they did the Bucks last year. I could see that, especially being rested. Boston is historically better on the road than they are at home as well. Like, it would only be Boston, in my opinion. I'm not looking towards, but I need all the guys though. I do need the guys, especially with Cleveland coming off 2 losses and a revenge spot. That's typically not a spot you want to bet against, but Boston is the best team in the NBA. We'll see if they bring it here in this game. Celtics money line for Adonis, 77 figure says Cavs riddle is beginning to be solved. Give me the C's. Money line minus 115. Dean Wade is a huge piece. I agree with this, Chad, for the Cavs. Without him, their cover rate goes through the roof. And yeah, I can put some numbers behind this, but I'm not going to in the moment. I do agree with this a lot, though. Let's see, what else y'all seeing? What up, Sean? PZ says, I'm going to take the Cavs +2. So opposite side there. Brian says, just live bet it. Watch it, live bet it, see what happens. OJ says, if losing to the Hawks twice doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. With that said, Cavs at home, OJ says, okay. Yeah, I need Porzingis and Drew in too if I'm a bet on them too, Chad. I think Porzingis being back, like, people aren't taking that into consideration, and I also think Dean Wade. I agree with everything that you said. Boston got Miami tomorrow. I don't really think that means a lot, honestly. Let's move on over to Miami and Toronto. So we got Toronto back at the crib finally. They're getting 4.5 points here. This total was at 221.5 last night. It has moved up a little bit to 222. Yeah, 222 on a couple books. The spread really hasn't moved it up a lot at all. So injury report. We'll go injury report first. I know Grady Dick is still out. He's missed, I think, 3 straight games now. Their offense has really struggled without him. They'll be without him. They'll be without Bruce Brown, no Kelly Olynyk, and of course no Manuel Quickley. On the Miami side, just Jovic is listed as out. Him and Josh Richardson are both listed as out. So we got first leg of a back-to-back with Miami, like I just talked about. They got the Boston Celtics tomorrow in Boston, and Toronto first game back home after a 4-game road trip. They got the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday. They'll host the Indiana Pacers. Miami has won 3 straight in the head-to-head matchup. They've covered 2 of the last 3, including that one 2 nights ago. They beat the Toronto Raptors 121-111 in Miami as an 8-point favorite. We were on the opposite. We were on the wrong side of that one. And it really was that third quarter, like I talked about. They got outscored in the third quarter. I think it was 38-15. Like, man, you cannot get out. That one still kind of hurt because Toronto had been covering machines on the road. Miami never wins by double digits at home. And Miami, of course, gets a double-digit win because Toronto just runs out of gas late in that game. That game did go over the 220, and this total did open higher. We talked about this trend earlier when we talked about Orlando and Brooklyn. It says that this game goes over. Toronto's offense typically plays a little bit better on the road. Defensively, Toronto can really struggle with guarding the 3-point line. Miami gets hot from the 3-point line. They can make some shots. On the opposite side, if Miami's not hot, they can really struggle. I feel like 38 points in that third quarter was an extreme outlier. Toronto has been better defensively than offensively, especially when you got Waters in there. You know, they got some guys that don't play that great at offense. And I kind of feel like Miami will at least bring the defense in this game. So because they won't be making their shots, I kind of lean Toronto plus the points here, but don't think I'm going to get involved in this game at all. I think this is one of my least favorite games on the board. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. We'll keep it real short here. Aaron says live betting spot. I think Toronto covered this match. No, I said I do too. I do think Toronto is potentially live, especially with the Miami Heat having the Celtics on deck tomorrow. Raptors plus the points for Aaron. Under 222, Kendrick says. RJ Barrett over his 5.5 rebounds. Scotty Barnes rebounds and assists over Doggy Bone. Chad says Raptors are nothing. Merrill likes Scotty Barnes over his 13.5 rebounds and assists. And Tyler Hero over his 21.5 points. Charles says IQ got paid and they played since. Yeah, IQ living his best life out there in Toronto with a bag. Raptors 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games, AB says. Yeah, I think I'm not putting my back-to-back money on Toronto, but that is the way. It sounds like a lot of people in the chat like Toronto in this spot as well. First games back home can be difficult, but I agree. 77 figure says backwood. Let's see. Fourth game in 6 nights for the Heat as well. First game of a back-to-back. I'm on Moneyballer. Let's see what else we got in our favor here. We got the Raptors 5-3 as home dogs in the first half, 6-2 against the spread as a home dog in general, and the Heat 0-2 against the spread. First half and full game winning on the first leg of a back-to-back. The Heat also just 2-2 as road favorites against the spread. 3-1 in the first half though, so maybe not first half. Yeah, I don't really see much in this game. Team total overs, the Heat are 4-0 to the under on their first half team total. If they're a road favorite, so their offense don't typically play well. Raptors 6-2 into the first half team total over if they're a home dog. So some Raptors first half love? Potentially. I'm not sure what to do with this game. I do think that being that the Heat just beat this team, the Heat don't typically cover back-to-back games. It'd be Raptors or nothing for me here, but I don't want to spend too much time on it, so we'll just keep it moving. I'm not betting this game. Raptors or nothing, though. Next game up, we got Pelicans and the Knicks. So we got the New York Knickerbockers back at home. They did lose me some money the other day. I bet them third quarter against the Charlotte Hornets, thinking that eventually they were going to wake up, and they did, but it was until late, and they barely woke up. I'm talking about like one eye open. They weren't actually all the way awake in that game. So now you got them coming back home. This line opened, I saw 11 and a half, up to 12 now. Looks like about everywhere, and the total has come down. It was 226 down to 223 and a half on most books. There's some 224s out there as well. So for the Pelicans, they've been god awful. Lost 8 of their last 10 games, but they have covered 3 of their last 4 games, and they're starting to get healthy. They will be without Jordan Hawkins. He got ruled out. They will be without Brandon Ingram. He also got ruled out in this game. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. The Pelicans have the Atlanta Hawks on deck tomorrow. Something to take into consideration for, in my opinion, for DeJounte Murray. Maybe it doesn't affect DeJounte like it affects other people, but DeJounte was on this Atlanta Hawks team last season. So I think that's something to take into consideration. He got a, revenge spot tomorrow. But when you play in the Garden, I just kind of feel like you get up, especially the Pelicans. They have nothing to really celebrate as of late. I know that they got a cover, but they still lost the game by 11 points, 10 points in that last game. And on the Knicks side, this is absolutely a team that cannot be trusted right now. In my opinion, the Knicks are, and I'll tell you guys what it is. So last game, the Knicks, they barely beat the Charlotte Hornets. And I'm going through the, looking at the beat writers, like hearing what the players had to say about the game. They were laying 13 points against the Charlotte Hornets, or 12 and a half, something like that. They won the game by 1 point. And Charlotte didn't have LaMelo, for people who've been living underneath a rock. Mikal Bridges shot 3 for 10 from the floor. He had 8 points, 3 for 10 from the field. He made a bonehead pass where he just threw the ball straight into Josh Green, and Josh Green had a layup right at the end of the first half. I don't think coming home is going to really change too much, man. The thing that I heard Josh Hart actually say after the game is like, we're not going to we're going to build Mikal up. We're not going to, criticize him for not playing that great. Our goal is to win a championship, and that's the ultimate goal. That's what we want to do, pretty much. When I heard Josh Hart say that, it made me think to myself, the Knicks really think that they the Celtics. That's how they're going to play this season. They don't worry. They're not trying to cover spreads. The Knicks are not trying to cover spreads. If offensively they have it going, cool. If offensively they don't have it going, they're not covering anything. And I do think that that's how they kind of look at things. So with that said, it's Pelicans in this spot for me or nothing. I know people not going to like it. They've actually won 3 straight. They've covered 2 of the last 3 in the head-to-head matchup. I mentioned them, getting a little bit healthier. They got Trey Murphy back now. They got CJ McCollum back. They still haven't done anything, so it's not like I think that they're about to come out here super flat. I'm only taking the Pels here, and I haven't played it, but I'm looking at Pels plus the 12 here. I can't lay double digits with the Knicks right now. Not with what I'm seeing. I don't even think they want to win by double digits. I think they just want to win. It takes effort to win by double digits. The Knicks are not playing with a lot of effort right now. That's not what I'm seeing. So it'd be Pels plus the 12 in this spot for me. I've not added it to my card yet. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. 7 games, PJ? I didn't realize it was 7. I knew it was at least 4. I did not know it was 7. 7-game home stretch. It's going to be buy-on for the Raptors in this spot for sure. Teams, especially suck teams, play a lot better at home. And I don't even know how much they suck. When they get Grady Dick back, it's going to help the offense tremendously. RJ back. Scotty Barnes is a hooper. Jakob Poeltl, they're a good rebounding team. I'm going to be taking some points with the Raptors if it's a 7-game homestand season for sure. GLB Best says rest at home dogs off a loss as a road favorite in a conference game or as 14-6 against the spread this season. I might look at the Raptors too. Man, don't tell me y'all about to have me taking Toronto plus the points again, man. 4.5 is a short number. That's a short number. That's a super short number. Hot TV Grits likes Jalen Brunson over 7.5 assists. Jacob says, how can you lay with the Knicks? They didn't cover against the Hornets. And I agree. That could be true, dropping dimes. The Pelicans could be holding Ingram out so they could trade him. Tasha says the Knicks get to 119. Cat over his 36.5 points and rebounds. Jacob says he did play Brunson over his assists. Mitchell Robinson, I got money on Knicks making the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, Richie, I can see that. Just because you're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals don't mean you're going to cover on December 1st against the Pelicans laying 12 points, though. Dougie Bone says Pels cover easily. Mark says, you nailed it, Chris. Can't trust the Knicks to cover. Yeah, I'm not touching the Knicks, man. Pels already for sure. A lot of people like the Pels. I didn't think you guys was going to like it. Okay. After Friday, New York winning by 1. Can't trust them, minus 12. Mitchell Robinson comes back. I like the money on the Knicks to make the Eastern Conference Finals. They are probably the second best team in the East. But I'm not trusting them against the Pels. Flat spot in my opinion here. Knicks on the do not bet list until further notice. Yeah. Remember one of the last times the Knicks were coming off a really long road trip, we faded them against the Bulls. The Bulls won that game outright. They were getting 9 points in that spot. That was about 3 weeks ago. And this is the first game back home after a 5-game road trip for the Knicks. Back-to-back non-covers. They failed to cover 3 of their last 4 games as well. And they got a potential look-ahead spot to the Orlando Magic. So all of the things that I mentioned. Pels plus 12 or nothing for me here. Next game up, Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Houston Rockets. 2 teams that's really, really difficult to fade here, man. This line, I think it's still about 1.5. I saw it open at 1.5. Yeah, not really moved a lot. The total open 221.5 is down to 220.5. There's still some 221s out there. This game to me screams under, but let's get into it. So we'll go injury report first. OKC has Caruso listed as out, no Chet Holmgren, and the big Jalen Williams. Little Jalen Williams did come back in the last game. He hooped in that game, crushed my Lakers. We talked about, liking the Lakers in that spot, liking the Oklahoma City Thunder in that spot. And they got the job done. On the Houston side, nobody on the injury report. This is shaping up to probably be the best game of the day, in my opinion. I think this is better than Boston and Cleveland, especially given the injury considerations in that game, not knowing who's going to play. So Oklahoma City, off 1 day's rest, traveling from LA, last of a 4-game road trip for them. Do they run out of gas? I don't know. They've won 4 straight. They've won 7 of their last 10. 4 of their last 5 games have actually stayed under the total. They played really, really good defense. We've talked about the numbers with Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor. This team has been absolutely money since Isaiah Hartenstein got on the floor. And I'm going to put some numbers to that real quick in just a second. But let's keep going. All right, so then you got the Oklahoma City, then you got the Houston side of things. 3 days rest. They're 8-2 against 8-2 straight up, 9-1 against the spread. This is the best ATS team in the league. And the thing I mentioned already, it's the 3 days rest for me. I don't want to fade Houston here. And they got revenge. They've been on fire as of late. Real quick to put some numbers to Isaiah Hartenstein being on the floor. With him on the floor, I gave out this the other day. I think it was a plus 22. They're plus 17 in point differential with Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor, which is 98th percentile. Defensively, they're giving up 95.8 points per 100 possessions, scoring 112.9 points per 100 possessions. I think you really just could take the opponent team total under every single time the Thunder play with Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor until further notice, and you probably gonna make a lot of money. Let's see real quick. I know that the Lakers went well under their team total. That game flew under the team total in the last game. But before that, who did they play? So they played the Lakers, held the Lakers 20 points. Siri talking. Held the Lakers 20 points under their team total. Played against the Warriors, held the Warriors 9.5 points under their team total. Played against the Kings, held the Kings 1 point under their team total. The Trailblazers held them 6 points under their team total. As I mentioned, 4 of their last 5 games have gone under. 6 of their last 8 games have actually gone under. But with Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor, it's different, man. I know Houston plays really fast. It's one of the top fast, pace teams in the NBA. I think it's an under game, though. The other thing I'll mention is OKC. Like I mentioned, they won the previous game earlier this season. They beat the Thunder down. Beat the Houston Rockets down. They beat them 126-107 at OKC. They were laying 7.5 points in that spot. I'm not betting against the Thunder right now. Not betting against the Thunder. Really don't want to bet against the Rockets. I think the best bet is the under. I think OKC can win this game with defense. I think Houston can win this game with defense. Player prop wise, I think the under is the best play. Under 221. If I'm betting the game, under 221 is the best look. Under 221.5 is the best look over on FanDuel right now. Player prop wise, I do really like, and I am going to end up playing Fred VanVleet to go under on his points in this spot. I think under points plus assists, both of those are good money. Actually, my favorite player prop of the day, and it's really a fade, right? I talked about we took LeBron under his assist in the last game that they played. If you in the Discord, I gave out Wiggins under his points, kind of last minute, but I gave out Wiggins under his points when they played against the Golden State Warriors the other day. They do the Oklahoma City Thunder are the best team in the NBA guarding pick and roll ball handlers. That's what they do. They just really lock up pick and roll ball handlers. We know Fred VanVleet gets a lot of his points off pick and roll ball handlers, pick and roll ball handling. He likes to shoot the three, likes to get all the way to the rim. Fred VanVleet points are at 15.5. I liked him to go under the 15.5. When I went back and looked at the numbers, the game that he played against them, let's see real quick. The game that he played against them earlier this season, he had 11 in OKC. He's actually gone under in 4 of the last 5 games against them as well. Has failed to get to even 14 points. So I do like Fred VanVleet under his 15.5 points. My favorite play on the card here as far as player props for today. Love Fred VanVleet. And like I said, you can take the points and assists under as well. I do think that I guess we know offensively they're a little bit better at home. The Houston Rockets are with scoring the basketball. But he's actually gone under the points and assist line as well in 4 of the last 5 games, 3 straight against this team as well. Only had 2 assists in that game earlier this season against OKC, 6 assists last season and 5 assists last season as well. So I do like Fred VanVleet under his 15.5 points in this game. I like the full game under 221. Those are the best bets in my opinion. Also, be remiss without mentioning, I don't think Derek's in the comments, but Derek gave out Isaiah Hartenstein over his points, rebounds, and assists the other day. I'm not sure if it's going to be a points, rebounds, and assists over because Houston is a really good defensive team as well. But Isaiah Hartenstein rebounds, I definitely think that he could continue to get there. He's crushed this number real quick. Over in 3 of the 4 games that he's played so far, he had 18 against the Lakers. Houston is one of the better rebounding teams in the league, but I think it's going to be a lot of misses in this game in general. So I'll be looking at Isaiah Hartenstein up and over his 10.5 rebounds as well, if you can find that number. Let's see. Real quick. Excuse me. Man, I hope I'm not about to get sick. Let's see. Houston, we talked about them being a good rebounding team in the last game. Let me just put some numbers to it real quick. All right, so yeah, Houston's second best defensive team in the NBA. Number 1 in opponent effective field goal percentage, forcing the 4th most turnovers over the last 5 games. And OKC 4th in defense. Both of these teams are. Houston is giving up 104 points per 100 possessions. OKC is giving up 106 points per 100 possessions. To me, it feels like the under is too easy almost. And sometimes I leave money on the table because it looks too easy. Also, the other thing I know is that Houston likes to push the pace. OKC is excellent defensively getting back in transition. Houston is 3rd in transition frequency over the last 5 games. They're actually number 4 on the full season. OKC is 2nd best team in limiting opponents' transition buckets. So yeah, I like under, and I like Fred VanVleet under. Lean towards Isaiah Hartenstein as well to go over his rebounds. Let's see what you guys are thinking before we move over to the next one. What up, Mitchell? Appreciate you for tapping in. PZ says Knicks on the do not bet list until further notice. I got Jalen Green for 30 points at plus 1,200. Thoughts on that? I think either Jalen Green's going to go completely over or he's going to go completely under. Jalen Green has been very boom or bust. I know to his credit, he had been dealing with an injury, not an injury, an illness. I think he had been injured. I think he had been ill on the injury report with an illness for, I think like every game last week that they played, or every game this week that they played. He's actually only gone over 30 in one game, one of his last 5 games. And that was the last game against Philly. He had 41. But Jalen Green is super boom or bust. He gonna get you 20 or he gonna get you 9. And there's really no in between. Against Minnesota, he scored 9. Against Portland, he scored 10. Against Portland, he scored 17. Against Indiana, he scored 14. So head-to-head wise, excuse me, somebody's going to have to score the basketball. But I think the points are going to be limited. Against the Oklahoma City Thunder, specifically, Jalen Green is only over in one of his last 5 games. He had a 37-point game last season against them. All the other games, teenagers, 15, 16, 14, and 11. Jalen Green has not played well against this Oklahoma City Thunder defense. And I'm not sure if they put him in the torture chamber or not, but it makes sense. Lou Dort is the best defender, on-ball defender in the NBA. It's not even close in my opinion. OJ likes the Rockets here. Brian says he took the Rockets plus 1.5. I got Jalen Green 30 plus point. Oh, I read that already. Jacob says he's on the Thunder money line. Nala says taking the Houston. Okay. Fred VanVleet under 17.5 points. Easy. Oh, man, I hate the word easy. Hate easy. Dougie Bones says Hardenstein rebounds. Drop a Dime says love the under in this one. And Denver-Portland matchup as well. Denver don't play Portland. Denver and Clippers. We'll get into that game in a second. Brian says the Rockets first half and under for him. What up, 3-time? Isaiah Hardenstein over his rebounds. I think it just says 10.5. I'm guessing that's over. Merrill likes Sengun over his 3.5 assists. Jalen Green under 19.5 for Merrill. Hardenstein over. All right, got it. Tyler says I'm late to the party, but I like Desmond Bane over his threes. He said 5 threes in 3 straight and 4 threes in 4 straight versus the Pacers specifically. Appreciate you for sharing that, Tyler. Appreciate you for sharing that. AB says I'm on the Rockets. They're usually a home wagon. Plus looks like 78% of the spread bets are on OKC in this spot. Real quick, let's just look at something real quick. Let's go back to. Let's look at the Thunder last few games in Houston specifically. So the Thunder are 4-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 4 games in Houston. The only loss that they had came last year. They lost 126 to 132. They lost. They were actually playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, and they were laying 6.5 points in that spot. The one time that they played this season, Thunder. Oh, I'm sorry. This is wrong. This is on the road. They've struggled. All 4 games have actually gone under. So my apologies. I typed that home. The Thunder last 4 games in Houston, they're 1-3 straight up, 1-3 against the spread, 4-0 to the under. Game staying under by an average of 9 points with a total at 230. And they stay under their team total in 3 of the 4 games. The Rockets have stayed under their team total in 3 of the 4 games as well. Going back, looking at it, 112 to 110 is the average point score in this game. I like under. I know the Rockets are playing fast, but I think the Thunder will be able to slow them down. I like under. And I couldn't talk anybody off liking the Thunder. Liking the Thunder or the Rockets in this spot. I'm not playing the side. What up, Manny? He says, should we just take the under for this one? That's the way I'm looking. Drop a Dime says, I read an article about the league being very happy with the overall free throw rate going down this year. Might be a good nugget to remember when it comes to the unders. Like it. This is going to be a super physical game. I do expect a lot of physicality in this game. It'd be under 221 for me. OKC and Houston. Let's move over to the next one. What we got next? We got Lakers and Jazz. So I think we're getting towards the end of the slate now. About time. I feel like I've been talking forever. We got Lakers and Jazz. This line is 7.5, 8 total, 228, 229. Just depends on where you're shopping. Let's see. We still got 4 more games. So I got to speed up. All right, Lakers. First leg of a back-to-back. They got a game in Minnesota tomorrow versus the Timberwolves. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. They've failed to cover 7 of their last 10 games. You got a Utah team on the second leg of a back-to-back. Last of a 4-game homestand for them. And they've lost 4 straight, and they've lost 8 of their last 9 games. Lakers injury report, you got Austin Reeves listed as questionable. He did take a hard fall in that last game, did return, but he didn't look like himself afterwards against the Oklahoma City Thunder. D'Lo is also listed as questionable with an illness, an injury. I'm sorry, not an injury, an illness. Guess he got sick after the game the other day. Listed as doubtful, maybe not play in this spot. Jackson Hayes continues to be out. And on the opposite side, Jordan Clarkson and Flip Bukowski did not play last night. It's going to be interesting to see if they play. If they play, I'm not laying points with the Lakers. I know the Lakers have beaten up on some of these bad teams in the NBA, but they didn't even cover as 10.5-point favorites against the Jazz the last time that they played. And that was in a cup game. I kind of feel like, I know that the Jazz are not good, but I'm not laying this big of a number with the Lakers on the road. It's really that simple for me. They have beaten the Jazz, like I said, once already this season, but in 5 of the last 6 head-to-head meetings, Utah, like I said, they were getting 10.5 in that last game. They covered November 19th. That game went up and over to 234. If Clarkson and Flip Bukowski get in, maybe it's just a Utah team total up and over. I'm not one to put my money, especially if the Lakers not going to be, not going to have everybody, all hands on deck here. Maybe a LeBron assist game, especially if D'Lo doesn't play. LeBron probably gets another triple-double. I can see his assists. Lakers offensively, they love playing offense. Dalton connect threes, absolutely. Like, the Utah Jazz are really bad 3-point defense. Second leg of a back-to-back for them as well. That's the way that I would play this one, but I'm probably staying far away from this game. Kendrick says if the Lakers don't cover versus the Jazz, we cook. Yeah, Lakers don't cover as road favorites. Big road favorites, the Lakers don't typically cover. Let me just look at that to make sure. I know this season they haven't been covering. Let's just say that they're laying 3 possessions, 5.5 or more. 5 and 7 against the number, only covering 41.7% of the time. Lakers have actually failed to cover 5 straight games as a 5.5 point favorite or more on the road this going back to last season. Didn't cover against the Wizards, won 125 to 120. Didn't cover against the Grizzlies last year, won that game 123 to 120. Didn't cover against the Raptors this season, won that game 131 to 125, laying 9. Didn't cover against the Pistons, lost outright. And didn't cover against the Pelicans, won that game 104 to 99. So for whatever reason, kind of like the Hawks, the Lakers do not cover on the road, especially if they're laying a big number. 0-3 against the spread so far this season, laying 5.5 points or more. I'm not laying my money on the Lakers. Merrill likes AD over his points prop. He also says Bron gets a triple-double. I like Bron assists in this spot. I do think the Lakers are going to be able to score. Defensively, how engaged will they be? I don't think they'll be that engaged, if I'm being honest. LeBron James assist is probably 9.5. We just faded Bron. We went under his 9.5 assists. He only finished with 6 in the last game. Damn, they put it at 10.5. They already know what time it is. Yeah, I don't really like that as much, but he has covered in 5 of the last 10 games. Against Utah earlier this season, he had 12. Yeah, I kind of think it's a Bron assist game. I think it's a Bron assist game if I'm playing here. I think it'll be plenty for him to get here. Dalton connect big scoring game again. Only way I would play it. Blair says took Bam over his 4.5 assists on Prize Picks. Brian says Lakers first quarter, first half team total overs. I don't like the way that the Lakers close out games. Get in and get out is what he says. Okay. Walker Kessler over his 3.5 blocks and steals. Dalton Connect got 9 threes against the Jazz last time. Might get 25 plus again, or even 30 against this Jazz team. I can see that. Tasha says we gotta follow Chris, especially when he's talking about his boys. I'm not laying points with the Lakers, man. 77 Figure says Bron or JJ Redick. Don't look as smart as those mind the game podcasts. Oh man, yeah, it's different when you think you got the formula, but then you got to actually go out there and execute it. But you don't get to do anything physically about that at all. You just get to tell the players what to do. And you got D'Angelo Russell trying to guard somebody. It's different, man. Let's see. Michael says I took LeBron under 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Okay. Let's see. Dirty Rig says I'm tired of taking sorry teams like the Jazz getting down near 10 and ending up getting smoked by 15 and 20. I'm gonna take the Lakers to get a cover here. Okay. Best of luck. Best of luck. I can't touch it, man. I'm probably gonna stay off of the game. I do like the over. I think the Lakers can score. I think the Jazz can score. Lakers laying 5.5 points or more since the start of the 2022 season, 8-4 to the over. So these are typically over games. Games averaging about 232 points. I'm not banking on the Lakers defensively here, even though the Jazz offense has been trash. Next one we got up is the Dallas Mavericks and the Portland Trail Blazers. This line opened with Dallas laying 7 points. They're now up to 7.5 point favorites. The total last night was at 228.5. It looks like it's still about 228. Injury report is important in this game because we got a team on the second leg of a back-to-back. Luka is listed as game time decision. He did miss the game last night with that wrist injury that's kept him out for the last few games. I'm curious to see what happens with Luka. Same thing for Klay. He did not play last night. Plantar fasciitis is what he's struggling with in that win against the Jazz. And then you got Najee Marshall also. He left the game with some upper respiratory stuff. I'm not sure if he was having difficulty breathing, but I want to say yes. Of course, they were playing in Utah, so that makes it a little bit harder. I don't think he returned in that game last night either. On the Portland side, bunch of guys on the injury report. Jeremy Grant still listed as game time decision. He did get ruled out. He's listed as questionable. Chris Murray, game time decision. Scoot Henderson, game time decision. Klingon out. Matisse Thybulle out. Robert Williams still dealing with concussion protocol. And then I also saw a tweet from one of the beat writers that said that Derek Lively was kind of holding his groin at one point in time yesterday as well. So I know he wasn't added to the injury report, but like that's something to take into consideration as well. You got Dallas coming off a big win, and the reason why I say it's a big win last night is because they needed that revenge. I heard PJ Washington talk about it after the game. They had lost to the Jazz in Utah the last time that they played. They got smoked in that game, so they did have revenge on their mind. You got Portland, man. This team is continue to cover. They continue to cover. I do need everybody in there, but they've continued to cover. You also got Dallas with a potential look-ahead spot. They got the Memphis Grizzlies on Wednesday. Portland, second game at home. They beat Sacramento outright as a 7.5 point dog on Wednesday. They quietly covered 7 of their last 9 games of the Portland Trail Blazers. They're 8-2 to the under in those games as well because defensively, they really lock teams down. We know that they're not the greatest offensive team. Whenever you have Kamara out there and, DeAndre Ayton be BSing every now and then, like, I don't know, man. It's just Portland games are one-way tickets for me. It's either Portland plus the points and under. Like I said, I just kind of want to wait on the injury report. Dallas also, like, big game yesterday with travel from Utah. You playing in Portland. We know that sometimes the altitude catches up with you late. And then on the opposite side, you got, in addition to that, you own Portland. Like, they beat Portland 4 straight times. They've covered every spread. They're 7-3 against the number in their last 10. 8 of the 10 have actually gone up and over the total. I think it's Portland plus the points here. Only way I'm looking. I don't think Dallas gets up for this one, even though they have been playing really, really excellent basketball as of late. So quick cap for me there. Let's see. If D'Lo is going to be out, I think Max Christie points off the bench is a good look. Jazz give up the third most points to guards. I love this look, Tyler. Christie got he got some work to do, man. He gave up that big foul. I'm pretty sure he's probably was down on himself after the game. That makes a ton of sense to me. I agree with that. Dropping Dimes says this was the other under that he likes. I love the under here. Be right there with you, Dropping Dimes. I mentioned already Portland 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games. They have been an under machine over their last 10 games. Kendrick says, just take the Dallas team total over. I don't think so in this spot. I would be on the opposite side of you, Kendrick, here. Didn't bet the game, though, but this is on my short list. Merrill going right back to PJ Washington over his rebounds and rebounds and assists. He says, been cashing like crazy. Must play, look into it. Yeah, I saw this last night. I saw some people sprinkling on his double-double last night. If the injury report, concludes with Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford potentially sitting out, that's even more minutes for PJ Washington. No Najee Marshall's, more minutes for PJ Washington. I think that's a really good look, man. I would be playing that as well. But yeah, under 220 What I say the total was 228.5. I think is the best number. Wait, see what happens with Luka. In my opinion, but because that'll run the total up. But I don't think this is the spot that Dallas is going to be locked in. Brian says get in and get out with Portland first quarter full game cover. Tasha likes Jeremy Grant over his 1.5 threes. Dropping dimes says Portland team total under have been an absolute wagon. Real quick, let's look at that. Portland has been struggling to score. The Mavs have been playing really good defense. The Blazers are, I might have went back too far. The Blazers are 13-7 to the under for the full game, staying under by about 4.5 points. The Blazers have actually stayed under their team total. They've actually gone over in 2 straight games. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 straight games before that they actually went under. But honestly, I just think you take the full game under. The Blazers games are only averaging 219 points per game. 219 points are the Blazers point total so far this season. And I bet you if you look at home, it's even lower. 225. Actually, it's more points at home. I don't like that. The Mavs are 7-3 to the over on the road. You don't like that either. 232 points is what they're averaging in road games. They did go under last night against the Jazz. They actually went over in 4 straight games before that. As a road favorite, though, Mavs 3-0 to the under, staying under by 15 points per game. They actually, last night was the first time the Mavs have actually covered as a road favorite this season. They lost to the Suns. That game went under. Went under by 13.5 points. Lost to the Jazz the first time that they played. That game went under by 2.5 points. And then last night, the game went under by 30 points. But the Jazz only scored 94 points in that game. Lions Portland, Ray says, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Portland plus the points. See what happens with Luka. You probably want Jeremy Grant to be a part of this one too, because Portland can really stink it up offensively. But that's the ways that I would look in this game. Portland plus the points and the under. Next game up, we got the Spurs and the Kings. Game will be played in Sacramento. And this is second to last one here. This is actually one I don't think a lot of people going to like either, but it's one that I like. And I like the Kings here. I do like the Kings. Sacramento is well rested in this spot. And I didn't play the Kings quite yet either. Sacramento is well rested in this spot, 3 days rest. They're coming off a home loss to the Lakers. They've actually won 4 straight. They had actually won 4 straight before that game, and they got a big game against the Phoenix Suns on Wednesday. The San Antonio Spurs. Sacramento is only coming off 1 day's rest, so huge rest disadvantage here. They've only covered 1 of their last 7 games have the Sacramento Kings, and they've only covered 2 of their last 8 games overall. I think this is a super motivation spot for Sacramento. So injury report real quick. We got DeMar DeRozan did go through practice yesterday. I love that they got a chance to practice in general. DeMar DeRozan did go through practice yesterday. He is expected to be back in this game. I think that could help the Kings. But honestly, what it comes down to, and Kevin Huerter has also popped up on the injury report. He's listed as doubtful. He don't play no defense anyway, so I think that might be even better if he doesn't play. On the opposite side of San Antonio, they should have everybody outside of Jeremy Sohan who continues to miss time. But I think we always talk about motivation. This feels like the motivational spot, in my opinion. Coach Mike Brown was livid. He was pissed after that game against Portland the other day. I watched the post-game interview, kind of dug into his team. He's actually on the hot seat because Sacramento is supposed to be better than 9-11 after through 20 games. Like, this is a very underwhelming, underperforming team so far. And San Antonio is also not that great, man. I'm not a big San Antonio guy, specifically on the road. I went through and looked at it. San Antonio, they're only 3-4 against the spread on the road, but in those 7 road games, 2 of their road wins actually came against Utah, and Utah ain't beating nobody right now. So if you take those 2 out, the Sacramento Kings are actually 0-5 straight up, 1-4 against the spread in road games, losing by an average of 15 points per game with 3 straight non-covers. They didn't cover against the Clippers, didn't cover against the Rockets, and didn't cover against the Dallas Mavericks. So I also, the other thing that really came to my mind when I thought about this game, because if you guys remember when these 2 teams played earlier this season, San Antonio smoked Sacramento in that game. So you got a big revenge spot here for Sacramento. They lost by 20. That game was played on November the 11th. Lost by 20. And they were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back in that game. They had actually just beat the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix the night before, and I think that game went to overtime, if you guys remember. So I think that Sacramento, maybe even Sacramento early in this spot. This line opened at 5, got pushed up to 5.5. I think this is the spot Sacramento washes San Antonio. This is actually one of my favorite plays on the board today. Actually, probably my favorite spread. I like Sacramento. Not sure if I want to play in first half a full game, just because San Antonio does have the major rest advantage here. But I think Sacramento get their stuff together today, man. I was actually looking Sacramento first half, Sacramento full game, and San Antonio team total under. This total is at what, 225.5? It was at 224.5 last night. I look at Sacramento defensively, and they've been good. It's just been their offense. Defensively, Sacramento is 5-2 to the under as a home favorite this season, with those games staying under by about 9.5 points. They've only allowed 107. The San Antonio team total was 109.5 last night when I wrote it in my notes. The Sacramento Kings are only allowing 107 points per game, and they've held 6 of their 7 opponents under 110 points this season. The only team that actually went over was the Jazz, and the Kings won the second leg of a back-to-back when the Jazz scored more than 110 points in that spot. So 3 ways you can kind of slice this one, man. Sacramento early, I do think they'll be motivated from tip. They were getting beat off the ball. They got called out for that. De'Aaron Fox mentioned it yesterday, post-game interview. I think DeMar DeRozan being back. The addition of Jay Crowder kind of brings some toughness there if you've been watching them play recently. I think San Antonio team total, I don't think they get to 111 today. And I like Sacramento. I think I like them a little bit more first half than full game, just because I think they'll be locked in from the beginning. But that's the way I want to play this one. I know a lot of people not going to like it, but I like Sacramento here. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Jay Steve says back-to-back and coming off altitude. Would that play a part in the Mavs going under? I think so. I was looking into this earlier this season. So real quick, let's go back real quick. So if you look at a team, if you look at teams, it's not super strong, but if you look at teams that played the Jazz in a road game that are unrested since last season, 5-5 to the over/under. So it's not really a lot there. Those games are only averaging 220 points though, and staying under by about 2.5 points per game since the start of last season. If you just look at this over the course of time though, let's just go back to the 2021 season. 16-16, so it's not a lot. They kind of teeter back and forth. My eyes tell me, and my eyes have actually been catching a lot more plays than all the notes that I'm doing. But my eyes tell me that this is an under spot. But I want to see what happens with Luka, because if Luka comes in, you're gonna get a better number. This might go up to 230. We'll see what happens. But I do like the under here, Steve. Dropping Dime says like the under in this one too. It's a bonus triple double for Merrill. Says Malik Monk gets 15.5. Jay Arias says motivation and the Sacramento Kings don't belong in the same sentence. Yeah, this will be the one though, Jay. This will be the one. Michael says he took Wemby 3.5 threes at plus 120. He's the primary 3-point shooter and shoots with value. It's crazy to think, but you're right. Kendrick likes Wemby over his 23.5. I don't know what he got against the bonus, but he cooks them every game they play. Also like his double-double. Yeah, the Kings gonna need to make some shots because it's really difficult to score inside the paint. This spot just kind of spoke to me though, man. I do think it's Sacramento spot early. Maybe not full game, but I like Sacramento here. Let's put some numbers with this real quick before we move over to the next game. So you said that Wemby cooks a bonus when they play. Let's look at that. All right. So Wemby, I know he had a big game against them earlier this season, but that was the second leg of a back-to-back. So this season, Wemby points prop 23.5 for the day. He's gone over in 56% of games, 9 of his 16. He's actually gone up and over 6 of his last 7 as well. He did stay under versus the Lakers. AD locked him up. He only had 20. But before that, 34, 25, 28, 50, 34, 24. So he has been cooking in recent form. Look at him in the head-to-head matchup. He had 34 in that game earlier this season. He did have 19 when they played one time last season, and he also had 27 against Wemby, against Sabonis in the Sabonis matchup last season. So 2 of the 3 head-to-head matchups, he's actually gone over the number as well. So I guess that makes a lot of sense, Kendrick. I can see that. Jacob says he got a Kings -4.5 Revenger. I like it. Brian says Spurs first quarter. I like the Spurs to cover. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, I like the opposite. I think this is a prime motivational spot. But if Sacramento ever go have a motivational spot, this is gonna be it. The dogs, man. I like the dogs. Dropping dimes. The number is 3.5 for Sacramento. -3.5 was available on ESPN Bet. It's only available on a couple of sports books when I was looking at it earlier this morning, though. A lot of the first half numbers hadn't came out yet. Now they are out. Sacramento is -3 on DraftKings. So that's the best number. I like it. I like it a lot. That's better than the 3.5 that I saw. Glad I took my time and didn't waste, pull the trigger too early. You can grab a 3 right now for Sacramento on a couple different books, but DraftKings, DraftKings, Bet365, and Caesars all got 3s. A lot of other books got 3.5, so definitely shop around. This is a game where you leave the numbers behind and you use your eyes. Basketball. DeMar coming back should slow the pace down again. Yeah, I like the team total under too. Do like the team total under for the San Antonio Spurs. Jacob says he got Wemby over 22.5. What happened to Detroit was they really care about cup games. So when you're playing the cup and then you're on the second leg of a back-to-back and you got to travel and Cade gets ruled out, you get smoked. That's what happened to them, Eddie. Last game on the board, right? We got one more? Yeah, let's get to the last one. We got the Nuggets and the Clippers. This game, not one that I really did a lot of deep diving into, but I tell you, my eyes tell me take the under. My eyes tell me take the under. I'm actually going to go to Moneyballer real quick, too, to look at this game from a Moneyballer perspective. All right, so let's get into it. We got Denver. They opened as 2.5-point favorites. I'm sorry. Hold on. I wrote down Clippers opened as 2.5-point favorites. I think I might have wrote that down wrong. I think Denver opened as 2.5-point favorites. I got to be tripping. Who opened? Y'all tell me who opened. Who opened in this game as a favorite? I can go find it out real quick. Let's just double check. I know the line didn't move that much. Let me double check it real quick. Yeah, I'm tripping. All right, so Nuggets opened as 2.5-point favorites or 3-point favorites, depending on where you're looking. I wrote the opposite down in my notes. This total, I saw it open at 222.5. It looks like the total opened 223.5. So money has come in on the under in this spot, and I would agree. I just talked about it. You got a well-rested Denver team coming off 3 days rest. They did beat Utah by 19 points. We cashed successfully in that spot, minus the 7.5, minus the 8, 10, whatever it is that you got. They were very, very motivated in that spot. Can they be motivated again in this spot? I kind of think so. We got to remember, they lost to the Clippers earlier this season. The Clippers have actually beat the Denver Nuggets 3 straight times. They've covered all 3 spreads as well. And the last 2 were outright wins. And they were dogs in those games, including the first one that happened on a Saturday on October the 26th earlier this season. I think we played under in that game, and that game flew under the total until the fourth quarter came, and I think it was like 70 points scored. But started off very, very slow, and I kind of feel the same in this one. You gotta look ahead spot for Denver. They do play Golden State on Tuesday, but I think that they're a mature team. I think they can keep it together. On the Clippers side, first game back home, not the greatest spot. 4-game road trip is what they are returning from. 6-4 straight up, 7-3 against the number in their last 10. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10, and they've covered 7 of their last 8 games. They did cover for us the other day against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Lost that game by, I think, 1 point, 2 points, something like that. But they were +6 in no look ahead spot. I forgot who they play coming up, but I think they play Portland coming up. But not too much of a look ahead spot there. Very, very tough game. I do feel. I do think that Denver is the better team. And let me just go to the injury report because I feel like I did not look at it. So you got Peyton Watson, game time decision. I know he's listed as probable. I think he did play in the last game against Utah as well. Aaron Gordon also, I forgot about Aaron Gordon. I saw this morning. Been upgraded to doubtful, so he'll be making his return here shortly as well after missing a lot of games. Other side, you got Norman Powell, who's been dealing with their hamstring injury. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Norman Powell. But you got Norman Powell listed as questionable with the hamstring injury. He's actually missed a bunch of games. I know he came back for that game against the Washington Wizards the other day, but he has not really played in too many games. Oh no, he didn't play in it. I thought he played in the Wizards games. He's actually missed 6 straight. So he could be a little rusty. I think Denver is the right side. I think the under is also the right side in this game. I think I like under a little bit more than Denver though. So this is the way I would play this one. Under 222 is the way I would play it. Maybe even the first half under. Real quick before I go through the comments, I want to go over to Moneyballer and look at some trends real quick. Look at some numbers on Moneyballer. So we got Nuggets well rested. In-season revenge for them as well after losing at home, which we talked about. Let's see. We got the Nuggets at not the best first half team. They have been struggling in that spot. They're only 4-13 against the number in the first half. 1-3 as a road favorite in the first half. The Clippers are one of the best first half teams in the NBA. 12-8-1 against the number in the first half. If they're a home dog, 5-1 against the number. If they have less rest for whatever reason, they are perfect 5-0 against the number in the first half. And they're a much better ATS team, 13-7-1 compared to just 7-10. They also 4-2 against the number as a home dog this season. As far as trends towards the over/under, the Clippers are 12-7-2 to the under in the first half, 4-2 to the under as a home dog, and 3-1-1 to the under with the rest disadvantage. So their defense typically plays a little bit better. Nuggets 2-0 to the under with the rest advantage. So defensively, they play a little bit better. I kind of think it's an under game. Clippers, opponents 4-2 to the under in general. Nuggets, opponents 2-0 to the under if they have the rest advantage. I kind of like under. I think under is the best spot in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. We'll do a quick recap and get up out of here. My favorite game of the night, under 222.5 is what Kendrick says. Jacob says, I love the under. I love under Zubac and Jokic points plus rebounds is what he's saying. 39.5 for Jokic, 27.5 for Zubac here. J.R. says he likes the Clippers. Joe says, good morning, Chris. Love the Clippers here. Nuggets been bad between the threes the past few years. So when the point spread is within one possession game, he said the Nuggets have been awful after winning by over 15 points as well. Clippers have had their number. They have won three straight. J.R. says fading the Kings and the Nuggets until I go broke. 77 Figure says first game back for the Clips after the roadie. I'm on Denver -2.5. Top. I kind of want to get there with Denver as well, man. I think they can win this game, especially if Norman Powell doesn't play. I also saw, I didn't mention it on the injury report, but I know y'all probably saw it too. Oh, I forgot to mention Kevin Porter Jr. is out. I saw him come up hobbled. He rolled his ankle. Less than 2 minutes left in that Minnesota game. That's big off the bench. He's averaging 9 points per game, 3 assists and 3.5 rebounds so far this season. You don't like that at all if you like the Clippers. And that's another reason why the game goes under, especially if Norman Powell doesn't play. This is a 10 o'clock start time game. So you got to, probably gonna have to wait all day for the injury report. But I'm just looking through the game logs right now. Kevin Porter Jr. had 10 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds in the game against Orlando. Well, hold on. Let's go here. All right. So he had 17 against Minnesota the other day. He also had an 11-point game in here against Philly, 7-point game against Boston, only 4 against the Wizards, but he had 5 rebounds. 14 against Sacramento, 10 against Orlando. Yeah, I think that's a big loss, especially with a team that struggles to score the basketball. I forgot to mention that. I don't like the Clippers in this spot. Don't like the Clippers in this spot. Jokic triple-double, Merrill says. He likes Zubac over his 12.5 rebounds. Joe says since 2021, Nuggets in regular seasons are 4-9 against the spread as away favorites with revenge. Not a factor. Okay. So I don't think the Nuggets get their revenge here. I know that the Nuggets are not typically great laying points on the road. That's just something that has been not that profitable. So maybe I'll go full game under. I kind of want to get there with the Nuggets, but under I think makes the most sense. Real quick, Nuggets away favorites are only 23-39. 23-39-2 against the number, covering 37% of their games, going all the way back to 2022 as a road favorite. Not a spot you typically want to lay points with them in. If it's a conference game and they're a road favorite in the regular season, only 18-17 straight up, 11-24 against the number. That says that this is a Clippers spot. But the Clippers also coming back home off the 4-game road trip, man. 11-24 is crazy, though. That's only 31% of the time have the Nuggets covered. It is 20-14-1 to the under, and that's what I like to see. That's 59%. I like under a little bit more, I think. GLB Best says he likes under. He says rest at home dogs off a road loss as a dog in a conference matchup. 14-6 to the under this season. I like it. SK says late today, but I'm looking at something on Holly and Morant, both to have 10 assists at plus 425. Okay. Brian says Clippers unders. Clippers take care of Denver. Okay. Jacob says no, over for them, over for their point. Oh, over for their points prop, not over for the game. Okay. Tasha says she likes Denver. Dirty Rig says I gotta put it on Jokic's shoulders in this one. Nuggets cover. Jokic and Russ been clicking. They have been. GLB Best says I actually did take the Clips +3 in a small fun parlay. Okay. And what's up, Franklin? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. I think this is the last game on the board, right? I've been on here for an hour, almost an hour and a half, talking about all these games. It's a lot of ways to get paid today, man. A lot of ways to get paid. Real quick, if I'm just typing up the things that I like the most, and I do think it's one of those days where you kind of shoot. Also, real quick, let me mention this. Before we get into a quick recap, because I did look into this earlier as well. We always talk about, the weekends being for dogs. I looked into this earlier this morning as well. I just want to kind of read this out. So dogs, we think about dogs covering more on the weekend. Dogs have actually covered, specifically this season, dogs are covering 66% of the games on Saturdays. Dogs are 27-14 against the number on Saturdays. On Sundays, they break even, 50%, 17-1 are dogs on Sundays. Sundays do lead towards unders a little bit more. 56% of the time. 19-15-1 are games on Sundays so far, whereas on Saturdays games are 61% to the under. So dogs cover and the games go under on Saturdays. Just something I wanted to share because I was looking into that this morning, thinking like, man, how many plays do I want to play on a Sunday? Because Sundays can be janky. That's just what I wanted to share. So real quick, let's go over to. I'm gonna actually type this in so you guys can see it. Just a quick recap of everything we talked about. Official plays for myself today. I will be on Fred VanVleet. Under his 15.5 points is the best number that you can get. Going back to play whatever it is that you love, man. Play whatever it is that you love. Going back to the top of the show, Orlando team total over 107.5. I think that full game over at, I think it was 209 when we first started talking about it. I think that's a really good look for today as well. You can get a 207.5 actually. I think that's a really good look. I know Orlando has been really good defensively, but they've been really scoring as well. And Brooklyn gets Schroeder back. So I like the over for the full game. I like Orlando team total over. I like Memphis first half. Let's see. What's the best number we can get for Memphis first half? Now that all the lines are out. -3.5 on FanDuel is the best number. 4.5 on some books as well. I like Memphis -3.5 in the first half. I like New Orleans plus the 12. I like Sacramento early. I like Sacramento late too for the full game. But Sacramento first half -3. We talked about OKC Houston. I like under 221.5 in that game. Going back to Memphis, just to keep this in order, Ja Morant over his 29.5 points plus assists, or you can see if you can shop around, get a 28.5. Tyrese Halliburton, same game, been looking like trash. Under 18.5 points. Shout out to Jacob. I think he mentioned that in the chat. Jason Tatum Over 9.5 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell. Over 25.5 points, especially if all those guys are injured the way we think they'll be. Toronto plus the 4 is something that we talked about. Not sure if I'm gonna get there. But Toronto plus the 4, we talked about that. I'm not gonna play Toronto plus 4. But if people are wondering how I'm thinking about the game, I'm only taking the points. Then a couple more that I mentioned as well. This list is getting long. Couple more that I mentioned as well was Dallas, Portland. I think you wait on the total in that game. But under 228.5, I would only be taking the points with Portland plus the 7.5 as well. Wait to see if Luka gets ruled in if you do want to play that one. And then last but not least, this last game we just talked about, Denver and the Clippers under 220. Best number you can get right now is let's see. Best number you can get right now is 222.5. Still available right now, under 222.5 for Denver and LAC to stay under. So what I bet so far is nothing, but I will be on Fred VanVleet under. I'll figure out what I want to do with these plays, man. Yesterday I came on here, gave out all the looks. They actually did a really good job of cashing. And Denver and LAC should not be in green either because I did not play that. But official plays for me are always in green. Fred VanVleet, we just gonna continue to fade ball handlers against the Oklahoma City Thunder defense. I did put up the under for that game as well. Really like this under. I think I'm gonna move it up the list. I won't put these in order, but I really do like this look a lot as well. The under in this game specifically. So I'll go through the short list, figure out what it is that I do want to play. But I like Sacramento. Oh, I forgot to mention. Be remiss without mentioning San Antonio team total under 110.5. I think that number is up to right now. That's probably going to be an official play for me. I think the Kings come out really good defensively in this game. That's actually probably going to be an official play for me. Haven't locked it in yet. I'll see where the number goes throughout the day. But under 110.5 is available on FanDuel. I really do like that number a lot. San Antonio team total under 110.5. So if you join late, you can go back, go through all of, the reasons why, the breakdowns for the games, but ton of games on today, ton of ways to get paid. How many plays is this? I guarantee you that this is a winning proposition for all the plays. If I sprinkled on all of these, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 plays, I guarantee you we got at least 10 winners. Let's see how it goes. We got at least 10 winners on the board for today, man. Let's see what you guys are thinking before we get up out of here. GLB Bet says, thanks, Chris and chat. We're going to cash today. Go join the Discord. Yeah, send me an email at ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's, or just DM me on Twitter or X if you want access to the Discord. Appreciate you for shouting that out, GLB Bets. Tyler says Memphis has covered the first half in what feels like 10 straight. Yeah, I gave out the numbers for Memphis. They're 15-4-1 against the spread in the first half, 7-2-1 against the spread in the first half at home. GLB Best says he took Orlando in the same lay with the Clippers +3. Justin says he appreciates the show. Hella plays. Actually, a lot of plays, SK. I'm firing today, man. It's been a while since I fired off. This is not a parlay, Tasha. Absolutely don't endorse parlays. Not on this channel. Wrong channel for parlays. 77 Figure says, good stuff, Chris, my man. Chai Best says a long list. That's a long list, not a short list. It is a long list today. Appreciate you guys for tapping in, man. Let's Michael says, put it in a round robin. Maybe I will round robin some things. I never really round robin, but maybe I will round robin, man. We'll see how it goes. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Everybody that's sharing insight in the comment section, in the chat, in the Discord, all throughout the day. The resources that I use to handicap the games, I always like to leave you guys with these. jaXon. There's a 50% promo code link in the description of the video. But you guys can also just use referral code ChrisBeCappinn with 2 P's, 2 N's, and get 50% off. Same thing for Moneyballer. I know a lot of people are checking Moneyballer out. I'm going to start doing a few shows with Moneyballer on the screen so you guys can see how I use it to handicap the games. It's also a really good site for other sports outside of NBA. You can cap the NFL. You can cap MLB. You can cap the WNBA. It's a lot of, you will be able to cap WNBA. So a lot of good resources there. And then last but not least, Odds Jam. I'm looking at it every single time I ever do a show because I always need to know where the odds are moving. And that's what I use it for, the sportsbook screen page, where I can kind of see the odds move in real time. So check these resources out if you guys are interested. Best of luck on all your action for today. I will catch you guys tomorrow bright and early as we always are on Monday mornings. Good luck on all your action on Sunday, man. Enjoy your Sunday as well. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.